What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 134 of Fresh Off the Mats. Here at the Jiu-Jitsu Joes. Am I green? I'm green. Cool.
Oh, shit. I didn't even check if I was green. Yeah, I'm green. Yeah, I didn't even check beforehand. Turned it on.
One day we're going to be professional. One day.
One day. We'll have everything prepped. We're going to have a crew.
We're going to have a crew one day. We're going to have dual camera.
We'll be able to look at somebody like, Steve, look that up for us.
Yeah.
We'll have that.
People always ask about dual camera because like we do single cam. They're like, why don't you guys
have like another one?
One facing you and one facing me? And then I have to, bro, but that's so much editing. You got to split.
We talked about this. Joe does, I do nothing. I'm a
You
face.
share the post.
I'm just a face here though. Like Joe knocks out when he adds music, when he does the edits, the shorts. That's all him. So
I would love to.
That's a lot.
Yeah, bro, I would love to. But the thing is, about it.
Don't harass us about shit like that.
No,
bro. Let Joe live, man. Because
I hope one day, if we could ever hire an editor, then I would do it that way.
Oh,
like
yeah.
how podcasts have a camera.
Yeah,
on
that's
each
like
person.
that. It would work. It would look better. Like obviously, there's
a lot of pros to people prefer it, but bro, think about it. You gotta have a camera here, camera here. Then you gotta sync up the two videos.
We would have to also look at it because right now, and we've said this plenty of times too, where it's like, we don't do this for profit. This isn't like we're not making money. But if we were to do something like that, that's where we would definitely change into like making it that professionalism to where it's also 100%. Like we're going to monetize and get ready for ads at that point. We'll throw in ads every time.
Hell yeah. Boom. This one's sponsored by MeUndies. Do you want MeUndies? We don't have a promo code because we're not sponsored.
Have you been getting that a lot recently?
I always get MeUndies. I get Roku glasses, like the sports glasses.
I don't, and I don't wear glasses.
Yeah, I don't know.
That just popped up on my algorithm. I was like, what the fuck am I getting this for?
What are some other ads I
get
get?
This.
Roku, sunglasses, MeUndies.
MeUndies is a big one. That one I've been getting recently too.
Oh, Shopify.
They have ads?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Use Shopify, blah, blah, blah. If you're a business, use Shopify. Use Shopify. I get Shopify.
Bro, did you see that? You can use Afterpay, I think it is. I think it's called Afterpay. It's the purple one. Or is it Shop? I think it's Afterpay. I think it's called Afterpay. You can use that for Uber Eats or some shit.
What do you mean?
Like you can
Afterpay.
It's like you pay later. The payment plan stuff where it's just like, oh, like you'll send
like Affirm?
Yeah,
Affirm. Amazon?
Affirm. That's what it was. No, you can affirm your Uber Eats and stuff now. I'm like, bro, people already go into debt for that.
So you order food and then you pay it off little by little?
Yeah, you sign it up on Affirm and you'll pay. Dog,
that's going to cause people to go faster into debt because they're not going to realize the hitting.
They're not going to care. They're going to be like, oh, $20 here, $30 here, $10 here, $15 here. It's like, yeah. Fucking check the end of the month. I guarantee you rack up $1,000 easy.
It blows my mind when who's that guy, the financial guy we like?
Caleb?
Yes.
Caleb Hammer.
Yes. His videos are fantastic. And my favorite one is when he sees all these charges for Uber Eats. Dude. And he goes, bro, you're charging a $10 meal on its own.
To make it cost $40.
Yeah. You're Uber Eatsing it for like $30, $40, 3-4 times the price. It doesn't make any sense. And they're like, oh, I just don't want to go down the block. And he's like, you should fucking go down the block.
I saw one like that. He was just like, how far is it from you? He goes, oh, it's down the block. He goes, what's a block for you? He was like, is that like a mile? Or is it just like a normal city block? They were like, normal city block. And I was like, dog, like, get out of your fucking house, bro.
That's
like,
insane.
What are you doing, dude?
To me, that's so insane, dude, that you would have I'm not a financial advisor or financial person at all, but the fact that you would take a $10 meal and then be like, I'm okay with charging $40 for the same $10 meal. Yeah. Like to me, that's insane. That's poor financial decisions in life.
I don't understand when people do stuff like that. Like, again, I've made mistakes financially, but it was like where I maxed out a credit card, but it was like going out, right? Like I was dumb. I would max out my credit card going out at the bars. We would just drink and horrible saying, but my buddies and I would always say, it'd be like, oh, that's a Monday problem. Just we rack up the card on the weekend and be like, yeah, that's a Monday problem. And then so like I racked up thousands of dollars of debt. I was so stupid. Yeah. But now like getting out of it, again, what I love about Caleb too is when these people come on there, they're like, oh, I came to you for the help. He goes, I can't help you. Yeah. He goes, I'm going to look over your finances, tell you what to do.
He gives them like
you
a path.
have to do it. Just like fitness, bro, I love fitness and finances because they flow one and one together. Fitness and finances, you have to stay consistent. You have to follow a plan. You have to track it. You have to ensure that you're not overspending, just like you have to ensure you're not overeating, right? It flows so well. And me as a coach, when I help people, especially online clients, because personal training tend not to get into that as much, mainly because like we get more on a personal level with like life and all.
Mhm.
But online clients, I've noticed I end up hearing more about stuff like that. And then I help them through it where it's like, hey, like apply the same lessons that you're learning through fitness, which is why I love fitness so much. Because I don't know, dude, like people look at it, it's such a base level. And it's like, bro, the amount of discipline you build in it,
Yeah.
we've talked about fitness so much, man, but it's like, dude, do it.
The people out there, like I said, they could give you the path in life. It's up to you, man. It's that saying of like, you could bring a horse to the well, but you can't make it drink the water. Like, we could show you what to do, but if you're not willing to take that on and do it, I mean, dude, at some point, like, okay, I showed you. I did my part. I showed you what to do.
I've had clients like that where I've had to fire them like after a few months. Now, I give people I've talked to other coaches and I've been told like I give a little bit too much leeway when it comes to people, but I've noticed like sometimes it takes people like 3-4 months just to start something, right? And that's me hammering them every week. We do our check-ins, and middle of the week I'm doing another check-in, and I'm hammering them on their fitness, and they're just not doing anything. And then one day, 3-4 months later, they'll finally be like, hey, I tracked my food this week. Yeah. And then I celebrate it huge because that is a big win. Yeah. But some people are like, they'll give you, bro, there are coaches out there, they'll give you a month. Yeah. 1 month. And they'll do that 4 weeks. And they'll do consistent check-ins and then they drop you. Now, obviously, right now I'm not as busy.
Yeah.
But when I was slammed, when I had like 20, 30 clients where I was checking in with them, it was.
But then they also wonder why you guys charge. They're like, oh, you guys charge so much. Yeah, because it takes me 3 months of my time and trying to persuade you. You're paying for that.
Exactly.
You're paying for me to beg you to start.
Which is crazy.
A lot of it. Like, a lot of it is like me begging you to just do what I'm telling you to do.
I thought about that when I coach people sometimes where I'm like, I'm being paid
to beg you.
To tell you every week, hey, track your food. Hey, go to the gym. Hey, get more steps in. Hey, drink your water. Hey, like, stop overeating. Hey, like, dude. And again, like you said, people will complain and be like, why do you charge? And I charge cheap right now. Like, dude, I can easily charge. I know coaches. I have a buddy who's a coach. He charges $600 a month.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
That's a normal fee. I charge way below that because I know my time availability and what I can give out. But when I was at my peak, I was charging people $300-400 a month. And that's $100 a week. But it's because you're paying my time to do that check-in.
They're paying for your time and your persuasion and knowledge to push them to keep doing it. Because let's be honest, if somebody's fat, but they have a decent brain on them, they could look up, I'm sure you could find a meal plan for free online. I'm sure you could find
ChatGPT.
You could find a workout plan online. And if you're a semi-smart person, you could say, okay, I need a meal plan and I need it and I get it online. And you could do that for free for yourself. Yeah. But they're paying you as a personal trainer because they
accountability.
That bounce back, that feedback of like, hey, do this. Hey, you got to do this. Hey, remember, hey, you fell off the wagon. The accountability aspect of it.
Which is what I love. And especially when people look at that and they're just like, oh, well, that still doesn't like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like cover the cost.
100% it does.
Yeah, like
100%.
When people say that, they're like, "Oh, you're just a professional person to check in with." I'm like, exactly,
like 100%. You can't do it on your own.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be talking to me. You would have done it on your own by now.
You would have done it. It's just like the same thing when people go to see Caleb Hammer. Yeah. They want their finances in check. He's there, and obviously his show, like he has them sign contracts, like, "Hey, I'll insult you, like I'm going to make fun of you, blah blah blah."
He's got to make it entertaining.
Yeah, he makes that part, but part of it's true. Like, there's been times where I've had hard conversations with clients where I'm like, "Yo, okay, we're going to talk," and the first thing I say is like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah,
that has sometimes been my first statement coming out right off the gate. We get on the phone, "Hey, what's going on? Hey, what the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah. How have you gained 3 pounds?
Yeah, it's just
like been eating salads and chicken this week.
That's my favorite. When someone tries to convince me they're in a calorie deficit.
Stop.
And I'm like, hey, you can't, this is for everyone. You can't beat thermodynamics.
Yeah.
You cannot. I promise you. You cannot.
Oh, yes, you can.
People are going to look up.
I identify are the 2 words in the English new zeitgeist that trump everything else. Yeah. I identify, or I feel, and I identify are the 2 phrases that trump all rational thinking in this world nowadays.
Because you know why that also agitates me more than anything?
I
So
feel.
I feel, or this is what I have, and then they like make something their identity. Like, so you know me, obviously have ADHD, right?
Okay.
How many times do you hear me in my daily life use that as a crutch and anything?
Never.
Right? Now, does it
Never.
affect me? 100%. I like, you've noticed the past week and a half, like I just got back on my Adderall today because I've been out. You noticed the change in how I am without it. There is a huge change.
Yeah.
But even though my life got really stressful in that week and a half, because I do notice the benefit, I also know there's part of me that has to like, and it's so hard. And it's not like, and this is where I do, and I can sympathize with people when they struggle with stuff.
Yeah.
But like when I'm struggling, there's also part of me where it's like, it still takes discipline. I can't take Adderall and be like, oh, fucking, that fixed my life. Yeah. No, dude, you take it and then you still have to apply things that are going to make you better, even if you don't have it. So like, yes, the past week and a half was stressful, but I still had, what is it, like things to do in a checklist to where it's like, I still have to follow that routine. Yeah. So that made my life much easier to handle. And when people would just try to
can handle the Rocky C.
Exactly.
That's why. You can handle the Rocky C. And there are people out there that they make shitty sailors.
Yeah.
No. There are people out there who just want comfortable, walk through the dandelions, nice day all the time. And let me tell you, bro, that's not real life.
And that also
real
sucks.
Life comes with rocky moments and in the sea and like things like doom and gloom. That's life.
Wouldn't you feel like that would just suck? Like imagine if everything, like, okay, you're black belt. Just like how in certain martial arts, people get it within 2 to 3 years. Yeah. Would you feel as a, like when you got your black belt in jiu-jitsu,
bro,
all the time, all that struggle, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the cauliflower, the busted lips, the black eyes, like
I just thought back to like all the days waking up and just being like, I don't want to do this.
I don't want to be here.
Yeah, no, like leading up to the black, like when I got my black belt, that was the one thing that ran through my mind. Like after I got the black belt, I was like, all those days when I woke up and I said, I don't physically feel I could do this thing, and I forced myself to go and do it, was worth it because it culminated to this moment right here.
Yeah.
And I think that is something you either have or you don't. I don't know if you can learn this thing, dude. I don't know. I really don't.
See, like, I think you can learn it, but
the
you
mental
have to,
grit of it all.
I think you can learn it. Now, will you be like an NFL level? Because like,
there's going to be different levels.
There's
of
different
mental,
levels.
Trust
of
me,
that
I'm
mental
not
grit.
Cam Haines. I'm not saying like my mental grit's like a Cam Haines or who's the other guy?
Which one?
Jesus Christ, on the tip of my tongue. He's like Cam Haines. He runs, skinny black dude, tall guy, famous.
Which one? Dude, there's a lot of them. The fast one?
The one that lost 200 pounds. He was like in the Navy or he's a Marine.
Oh
my God. Why can't I think of his name right now?
Holy shit. I know exactly what you're talking about. He wrote the books.
Yes. Oh my God. What's his name right now?
Does it start with the O? Why am I forgetting his name?
Cam Haines, and he's friends with the guy.
David Goggins.
David Goggins. Oh my God. Why was that so hard to remember?
That was crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I don't have that.
Levels.
Yeah, there's different levels.
But he's proof. David Goggins is proof that you can learn it and you can build it. Because he was extremely overweight.
True.
Now, there's two sides to it.
But do you think that was always in him? That he could one day just
turn
on and do it?
So I would say he definitely had a face.
Because how do you learn it?
How do you
just do you learn it through the experiences of going through difficult things?
Yes. And so that's why I'm saying that people who just want this dandelion, I'm brushing my hands through the sunflowers type lifestyle, it's like you will crumble. You will. And it's guaranteed you will crumble the second something goes wrong
100%.
Because you didn't have that. You didn't build your capacity to deal with bullshit.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
Right.
Like whether it's coming from mental toughness to get a physical workout in or mental tough, like bro, honestly, jiu-jitsu is what's helping me get through school right now. Not in the sense of me showing up to jiu-jitsu and training.
Just to clear your head?
That part's huge, but the aspect of what jiu-jitsu teaches. Like, and obviously I've gone through other stuff. I've gone through Marine Corps boot camp, right? I've gone through the military. I've had stuff prior to that helped me grow up tougher. But the aspect of jiu-jitsu to relate it all is this sucks. Yeah. Jiu-jitsu sucks, dude. Like especially white belt, you're getting your ass beat. You may have some guys that go soft on you, but even when you're going to roll with another white belt at some point and you're going to go to war with another person, dude, then at blue belt,
have a lot of bad days.
Blue belt, you're going to wake up and then realize everyone was being nice and you're going to get your ass beat even more.
Yep.
And so that type of mentality where it was like, I have to keep showing up. I got to go. Even if I don't understand something, a move. How many times you got me in a darce to me, I think about that when it comes to like my chemistry class.
Yeah.
I'm struggling understanding chemistry and pre-calc, but I
You
show
gotta- you
up
gotta
every
sit in the
fucking
shit.
day. Yeah,
Yeah.
I show up every day. I sit in the fucking my room and I'm just on the computer studying, trying to figure it out. And it's the grit that I earned again from previous stuff in life. But jujitsu to me is the most prevalent right now, and that's what's getting me through it. Is that
So-
aspect that I built it.
So do you think you're 31?
I
You're
turned
30.
31 this year.
You're 30, I'm 33. And do you think, so like, do you think the reason we have so many of these like softer, crybaby, loud people, do you think it's just because they just haven't gone through enough shit to deal with those things? Like, you know what I mean? Like when I was growing up, like in my, I mean by that is like in my 20s, like when I was in my early 20s, when I was in my mid 20s, those times of like, oh my God, am I going to be able to pay my bills this month? Oh my God, I got to make
That
this
stress.
work. Oh my God. Oh my God. And do you think that sets you up that if you have a bad day, like your tire goes flat or like you failed your chemistry test, that you're like, bro, I've been through worse in my life. Like, you know what I mean? Like I have the grit to get through this. Yeah, it sucks, but I could get through this because I've already previously been through so much stupid shit in my life.
Shit. So I think it's two-part, right?
Like it's training almost in a way.
Yes. And so that's what I'm saying. Like what I think people approach this wrong is like the people who want to get in shape, right? Let's go back in the fitness realm.
Yeah.
And then they try to do a complete 180 of their lifestyle.
But they've never done hard shit in the past in order to show that it works.
Exactly. Yeah. So the second they try to do this 180, their whole life got flipped, right? Yeah. Which some people it works. Very rare. Some people
I was one. I did
that's
complete 180.
A lot of people can't.
But I understand why a majority of people cannot. And I tell people that. Yeah.
But again, I also think it depends on the background. Like you were overweight and then you grew up feeling that, right? Yeah. And then that feeling builds a mental
driving
toughness.
Force of like, I cannot fail because I don't want to go back to.
And so that's what I'm saying. It depends. It depends on one, when you face it. So let's say like, that's why I think sports for kids are extremely important because you get them to face some type of challenge, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Whether it's that physical sport or soccer. Yeah, exactly. They learn to lose. That's why it's so important. But then if you start only facing things when you're a teenager, is that challenging? Yeah, but you're not going to have that balance,
previous experience
from when you were a kid where you had to learn how to regulate a few things.
So do you think nowadays, because we see a lot of these guys crying and softer dudes or whatever, do you think it's because they went too long without having a challenge to meet? Like they didn't meet their first real challenge in life till 25, 26, maybe even 30.
I would say.
And then it's like, oh, because they've had such a cushy life the whole time that now that they have to deal with like, I don't know, a parent dying or they get diagnosed with disease and then their disease becomes their identity. It's like, yeah, because you never had to deal with hardship and just work through it.
Exactly. So I think twofold. One, I don't believe that's even a majority. It's just like how the smaller voices currently have the loudest voice, or the smallest group have the loudest voices right now. And I don't think like the nice part about being in college right now is I am meeting people 10 years younger, right? I'm meeting the 10 to 13 years younger.
Do they ever tell you that their problems and you're like, oh, that's nothing. You're going to be fine.
So yeah, some of it. Yeah. Like one kid, he was complaining like how he had his long 8-hour shift, but it turned into a 12-hour shift. Yeah. And it's like,
yeah, that's life.
To him, you're gonna be okay. And that's what I told him. I was like, hey man, I get it. That does suck. I remember those days when I first had experienced it, but like, not really. I'm not big on
There's a part where Homer's talking to Bart and he says, this is the worst day of your life.
Yeah, that's from the movie.
So far.
Yeah, when he tied him up naked.
Yes, yeah.
So I did see the movie. And he was just like, this is the worst day of my life, Dad. He goes, this is the worst day of your life so far. But that's such a good life lesson from a simple cartoon. It is. And because that's true. And that's the thing. That's what I was telling the guy. Like he was struggling. I was like, yo, bro, I was like, that does suck. I get it. It's going to happen again. Yeah. Like that's it. It's going to happen.
Prepare
so now,
for this to be a normal state.
And that's where I think so I had so I went to therapy, talked to a therapist about this. I had a mentality of expect the worst. No, what was it? Hope for the best, expect the worst, right? Mm-hmm. That's how I used to live my life. She told me.
Is that wrong?
Yes. So the reason why it's wrong is the wording. You should hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Not expect the worst. So my mentality used to be very negative and cynical in the sense where I'm hoping, I would hope something good happened to me, but I would walk around like, nah, something bad's going to happen. Yeah. I would expect bad stuff because in my head, I was like, well, if something bad happens, I already expected it. So it never hit as a shock. Yeah. But she was like, no, you shouldn't expect bad things. You should just
Prepare.
prepare and
Yeah,
have yourself
I guess
mentally
that wording
prepared
really
for it.
makes the phrase super different because
And-
I live my life like that, where
Yeah.
like I expect good things to happen because like I don't know. I think it's weird to like expect that bad things are always going to happen.
He's such a nice guy.
But, yeah.
Such
But
an
I think
optimist.
you expect, yeah, I like to be. And then like, I guess I shouldn't say I expect the worst, but I always prepare like when we take long trips like Miami
Yeah.
or Orlando, I always check my tire pressure before I leave on the trip.
See, that's
and it's-
smart.
Yeah.
You're preparing for the worst case scenario.
Previously, I would say that was expecting the worst, like,
No,
oh, I'm going to get a
that's
flat
preparing.
tire. Yeah.
That's preparing.
yeah.
And so that's the thing.
That's
And
a good
so-
way to change that wording.
And that
right now.
exactly.
Yeah.
So when she told me, this is why I tell people,
That wording is
don't
actually
go to your
super
friends.
critical. Yeah.
Go seek professionals. Professionals do these things for a reason. She helped me with that. I used to tell this saying to my friends all the time, and they were all like, "Oh, that's great." If I told you that and then didn't say the second part, you probably would have been like, "Yeah, that's great."
Yeah.
But now you see where the wording changes. Seek professional help. They are helpful. All right.
But I think people, when they say that phrase, though, they do, instead of expect, they do mean prepare. They're just not using it because
I
they've
did
heard
not.
it a million times that way.
I did not.
before.
When I say I expected it, I literally expected the worst, and I would hope for the best, but I didn't prepare. It would just be like, life is just going to punch me in the face. And that's how I lived my life, where I was just expecting to be punched in the face for no reason. And it was just, that's it, which is just not healthy.
Yeah.
And the better way is how you do. Oh, I'm going to check my tire pressure. I would never do that. To me, I was like, I'm going to probably drive and I'm probably going to get in an accident, or my tires are going to go flat and I'm just not going to make it in time. I'm probably going to run late getting back. That's how I would think.
Yeah.
Now I do think this way, where it's like, let me fill up my gas tank. Okay. When I do get in certain traffic, like, you know how I drive pretty crazy, right? I speed a lot and I'll move in and out of traffic. But if I get stuck in traffic, let me make sure I have a good distance between me and the car in front of me.
Yeah.
Let me make sure I have enough space. Like, if I do now think more in a prepared mindset versus just that expectation of bad things happening.
I think that's super critical, especially for like the younger, like teenagers and early 20s. Because I think nowadays we've gotten to this culture where they expect just good things to fall from the sky from them. I think they have this other mentality where it's like, I'm not going to put in the work to prepare for this, but I expect to have a CEO job.
So that's
And
where,
it's like, you can't expect good things to happen without doing the
And
footwork, man.
again, and this is where, and it's hard to agree with it now about, and I don't like,
hindsight's always 2020. I
because-
look back on stupid things.
So no, what I mean is being in college and seeing these kids, talking to them like they're not expecting stuff like that. Now, I'm sure it matters depending on the state we're in, the cities
I just
we're in,
feel
and
like
things
we
like
see
that.
a lot online where
But-
these
and I
people are
think,
like,
again,
oh, I should be making $40,000 and
have you seen
only
like the
working
ones
half.
where the females are be
part-time.
like, oh, what do you expect your husband to make in the future? And they'll be like, oh, I expect to make 250,000.
Yeah, but
like, what the fuck do you
But
think
doesn't
people
that
do in
say
the
something
world?
about that generation? Because I don't feel like when we were 20 something, we
That's
were
what
like,
you were expecting.
yeah,
No.
I don't know.
So that's where, again, I think the issue with social media is it gives so
The
many people
small
information,
voices.
and it's small groups, big voices.
Small groups,
Yeah,
big
small
voice, yeah.
small group, big voice. And I think that's what the problem is, because then you see online these people who like have this crazy lifestyle. They're super rich and they're young. Like, dude, like Kai Cenat. Do you know who that is? The streamer, the black kid.
Yes, yeah.
So Kai Cenat, multi-millionaire dude, and he's in his early 20s, right?
But
then
didn't he catch on a niche thing, or was he born into a wealthy family?
no, he caught on. He streamed, and he worked hard at streaming.
Yeah, but
But-
that's a great story.
And that's the thing. They don't see that part. And
Yeah.
you know what I think the problem is? It's not that, one, it's not people's responsibility to have to tell their rising to fame story. They don't
Yeah.
have to say it.
yeah.
Now, when they do, I think that's really important
Yeah.
to show, like, bro, I'm pretty sure Kai was saying, like, he worked a full-time job and then he would come home at night and stream.
Yeah.
So he wasn't getting sleep, but he would stream because he wanted to build it. And then when he finally had like a certain amount to go to part-time, he still worked part-time because he wasn't sure if it would take off.
If
And
it
then
would
when
take
it when
off,
it
yeah.
finally took off, he still worked because he was like, I don't know how long this will last. And then when it became financially available to where he was like, this is what I can do, that changed things. But that's where, again, it's not his responsibility to have to tell that story.
No.
But if he does, awesome. And I think the issue is most people on social media, when they see it, that's all they're getting. That's why I always tell you, I think your social media is awesome because you, from the get-go, have never been afraid to be like, oh, I missed this lift. Oh, I lost this competition.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't been good in training so
just
far.
because
or
it's
something.
real life, bro.
Yeah.
It's real life. If you prop yourself up as this godly figure that can do no wrong and like
The second
you're
something bad
perfect,
happens, that's it. Your whole entire your face is gone.
your face is gone, and it just, I think, bro, people don't focus on the ego. What is it? The id and the ego.
Yeah.
The two things inside you, the one that props you up as you're the best, and the one that tells you, hey, bro, be humble and shit. And I don't think people really acknowledge this a lot. People really don't talk about their egos enough. And I think it's important to keep yours in check. Bro, if you do a silly thing, post a silly thing. If you have fun with your friends doing something dumb, post it or whatever. If you lose a competition or you miss a lift, post it. What do you care? If you fuck up, you make a mistake.
Because you know what's also great.
You're not you from a week ago. You realize a week ago, you are a different person than a week ago. You've learned a million lessons that you haven't even picked up on because it's subconscious, and you're a completely different person. Your outlook on life is completely different. The problem is people prep themselves up as being perfect beings, and that way they cannot show that I learned this thing that was different than how I thought a week ago. This is a fault.
And you know what I think the big issue on that is too, is just, again, like I said, they're going to lose face. The second something bad happens, that's it. Now your persona is gone.
Yeah.
Now that whole perfectionism is gone. And it's like, you set unrealistic standards. And I also hate it when I do see these popular pages and they refuse to acknowledge, like, my favorite is when I see it, they're like, I'm not asking to be anyone's role model, dog. You when you put yourself in that position, you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And
people are going to look up to you.
They're going to look up to you.
Yeah.
So what I don't understand is when you get to that position, and like, why not try to become that real role model and make it to where it's like, oh, this is something to look up to. But
because we delve on like this perfect human outlook where like you want your role model to be Superman. Superman's the most boring superhero.
I hate him
because he's perfect.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I've
He
never
has
been
no
a fan of
flaws.
Superman.
He cannot be hurt. Oh, he could get hurt by a little rock. They had to give him something. But there's no
Which
flaws.
still doesn't always work. Because I'll never forget what pissed me off the most, what really solidified me not liking Superman, and a little tangent on comic stuff and all that, is what was the show, when he pushed it was a meteor of kryptonite. He pushed it away and moved it and still lived. I was like,
that should have flatlined.
It should have killed him.
Yeah.
It should have been the end of Superman. He should have died.
Yeah.
He died for a little bit. He floated back and then woke up. I was like, no, you should be dead.
Yeah.
Because when someone brings Lex Luthor brings a rock near you, you're like, but I can push. He could push
Put
the
hands
meteor
on it
and keep his power, bro. That part pissed me off. I hate Superman. But going back to the whole ego thing, right? What I think, and Andy Frisella talks about this often, and I think it's great, where he brings up the difference between people who are egotistical and when people also bring up, oh, you should be humble.
There's a balance.
There's a balance, but people also misunderstand it. People think humble living means you shouldn't buy nice things. You shouldn't try to earn as much money as possible.
No.
You shouldn't try to get rich. You shouldn't try to. No, humble means I have these things because I earned it. It doesn't mean I'm going to throw it in your face.
Bro.
I can post it. If I made a big win, why would I not post it? Because I'm proud of myself. That doesn't mean I have a huge inflated ego, and that shouldn't. I hate when I see people, oh, you should be humble. No, he shouldn't.
Yeah.
Especially if he worked his way up and then made it. Bro, let me win worlds. Let me post that and let someone try to tell me, hey, man, you shouldn't go bragging about it. Fuck you. If that ever happened, I'd be fucking, the amount of hours I'll put in, suck a dick.
You know what it comes from?
Low, but.
You know what that comes from? That comes from the have-nots. That comes from people who haven't put in the amount of work, who haven't put the amount of time and effort, and then they have to make them feel better by saying, oh, you're not humble.
Yeah.
They want what you have. They want the post. They want that you want
I've never talked to someone that wants to stay broke.
Yeah, but it's the fact that they haven't put in the work to do it yet, and they haven't reached the goals that you've reached. So now that to make themselves feel better, you need to be humble.
You need to come back down to my level. Yeah, come to my level.
Yeah.
Don't
fuck
stay
those
higher.
people. Those people are rocks that are chained to your ankles.
Yeah.
Cut those people off.
Yeah,
those
break
people
that
are
chain,
cancer, bro. And I'm telling you, I see it a lot when it comes to Magic the Gathering, on a little bit of a tangent, but like those nerds and stuff, like that community of nerds that we are, bro, there'll be people who have made it. They're popular Magic the Gathering people, and they'll acknowledge funny stuff that like I've done or smaller creators done, but they won't repost it. They won't glow up. They won't do any of that stuff, which is fine. But then I'm okay with that. It's fine. You don't want to acknowledge me, even though like you're more popular and you like the stuff that I do and I like the stuff you do, but you can't acknowledge me, fine. But what I can't stand worse, that I hate, is the people below you who say, oh, must be nice to have the money to buy all the sets that come out. Must be nice to open up packs every single day. must be nice. You know, you should be humble. You shouldn't brag about how much money you make off packs of cards. It's a game, first and foremost. Bro, fuck off.
Yeah, fuck
because
off.
you're jealous
That's
that
crazy.
you can't do it yourself.
Yeah.
You're jealous that you're not in the position to do it yourself. You're jealous that you haven't put in the last 4 years like I have, posting every single day on my YouTube page. Every day. I literally just went back last night because I couldn't sleep and checked when I started my first YouTube short. It was July 2021, and I haven't missed a day of posting a short since then. And people just, oh, must be nice. Fuck you, bro.
Yeah.
It was a long, hard roll, and I'm happy with the stuff that I've done. And what makes you mad is you know that I'm going to continue doing it.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can say that's going to make me stop.
That's what's really holding them back to. And that's the thing.
Just do
It
it.
holds them back.
Yeah.
That's the problem with that mentality.
Yeah.
Is it's going to hold you
Yeah.
back. Because
If I gave you the option tomorrow to switch, you would.
yeah.
Hey, you take over my channel. Hey, you have all the cards I have.
And you know the funniest
switch,
part?
you would do it in a heartbeat.
And the
You would
funniest-
not say, oh, no, I would not do that.
And here's the funniest part.
Fuck off.
It would fail.
Yeah.
The second the switch happens, you would be able to do it all over again.
100%.
You'd be like, oh, I'm just going to go do it again.
Yep.
I'll start from ground zero.
I'll start
That's
from
why I love like
scratch.
any millionaire that gets interviewed. They all say the same thing. Every single one of them. Like, oh, if you lost it all today, would you be able to do it again?
100%.
Every single
Tomorrow,
because you
starting
know why?
tomorrow.
Every single one of them
Starting
learned the
today.
lessons. Yeah.
Yeah.
They all learned the lessons. They went through the hard shit. They didn't try to live in a life of sunflowers. They realized it looks like I'm eating ramen and peanut butter and jelly for the fucking 12 years, whatever the fuck it takes. They're going to suffer.
And they would succeed because they
And
know
they're
the
gonna
pitfalls
succeed.
ahead of time.
But the person who just wants to be like, must be nice. Oh, you're just lucky. Oh, cool. Here, give it
Do
a
it.
shot. And then
Do
it
it.
would fail because
it.
one, you don't have the grit. You don't have the consistency. You don't have a discipline. You don't have the drive. You don't even want it. You just like to say, like, it's those people that just talk shit to talk shit
Yeah.
because they just want to say it, but they don't even want what you have either.
no,
That's the
they
thing.
just want to talk
They just
shit.
want to talk shit. And it's like they're literally there just to drive out negative energy. Because again, it goes back to they don't like where they're at.
No.
Whether they want what you have exactly
They're
or not.
jealous.
It's
They're
just
jealous,
yeah,
bro.
they're not happy.
Jealousy's ugly.
That's it. You're just not a happy person.
Bro, you should be happy for everybody. That's why when Elias posts stuff, I repost his
Yep.
tattoo stuff. When Nick posts his business of like
The
with the cars, the
cinematography,
detailing stuff, I repost it because I think it's important to help the people that are around you because they're gonna help you one day.
Mhm.
One day I'm gonna need the help, and they're gonna help you. And that's what we do. That's what a friendship is. I need your help. You need my help. Let's do this together. That's what a community is. That's what a real
And that's it.
community
And that's
is.
it. You don't
Because
even need
Magic
it.
the Gathering motherfuckers be like, oh, I'm all about the community. I'm all about the community. Until it takes out of their mouth. And then they're like, oh, no, I can't help you
Yeah.
out, bro. It's about me.
Exactly.
Fuck that, bro.
That's- and
I'm
once-
never going to be like
Once
that.
you're truly selfish like that, you will crash.
Yeah.
Something's going to happen and you will crash. And whether it's a crash through like finances or a crash through social life or a crash through whatever you're into, doesn't matter. A crash will happen and then you'll realize, fuck, I have nothing.
Yeah.
I have no one around me now because you were a dick and you were negative and no one wants to actually be around you.
Yeah.
It's just like, dude,
People see the ugly face.
and that's it, man. It's crazy.
All right, hoes. We'll see you next week for episode 135.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Yes, sir.